Hello, everybody. This is your girl, Lady She from Hot Mic with Lady She Podcast. I'm here once again. We are still doing the Men Were Art Thou series 2. I am excited today. This is going to be a great week in our Black History 2023. I'm here with my special guest, Mr. Trevor Jackson. He is the co-writer, the co-director of the film Speak to Me.
How are you?
Hi.
Thanks for reaching out.
Thanks for coming.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm excited about this conversation. So, just chatting with Mr. Jackson, real quick. We were just speaking on just the subject is just great timing for the subject of mental health. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
On this film.
Thank you.
Listen, we're gonna talk about the details about the film, but I need some of you to make sure you are following him on social media and see what else is up with this young man and his partner. What's your partner's
Kurt.
name?
So Kurt Damas. Kurt Rockmore was his stage name. He was he toured the world. He was a hip hop artist, rock star, and he created the story. He wrote the film. He asked me to be a part of it. So, yeah, beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
How'd you guys meet?
One of my best friends, my brother Marcus Damas, is his actual brother.
His actual brother.
Yeah,
Okay.
and we connected through him years ago.
And all you are from Long Island?
All of us are from Long Island, Bayshore.
Shout out to Long Island.
Yeah.
All right, for people who don't know, he's from Bayshore. I'm from Hempstead, Nassau County, Suffolk County.
Yeah.
But we making it do what it do in here. Oh, big shout out to Black Long Island also.
Black Long Island, how you guys
shout out
doing?
to Black Long Island. They just making everybody connect, and it's a beautiful thing. So make sure you guys follow them on Facebook. So let's jump right in. So from Bayshore, you and your friend decided to.
No, so we had a friend. Our brother passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right,
okay.
And when Kurt wrote the film, he was meditating, and when he was meditating, he realized, like, I see why people would complete suicide.
Yeah.
And our brother that passed away, he was the glue to the team.
Yeah.
Like right now, I have his wristbands on at the moment. So he had called me that day after he finished meditating, asking me what I was doing. I just told him to pull up. We at the crib having some drinks or whatever, and that's where he got the idea for the film, because he was like, if I didn't have my boys and my friends and my fellas, my fellowship,
your circle
to hit up, like, what does someone do that doesn't have anybody to speak to?
That's a bar.
So that's how we got the name Speak to Me, was that. So he started writing it. Then he hit me up around his birthday. Said, I have an idea. He didn't start writing it.
Around his own birthday or the brother's birthday?
His own birthday. About 8 months after my friend passed away unexpectedly, of some heart issues. He hit me up. He was just like, I have this film in my head. I was like, did you write it? He goes, no, but he sent me, the next day, he sent me like pretty much a script.
Right.
I rewrote the first couple pages, first about 5-6 pages, gave it back to him. And then 2 days later, he gave me 22 pages of the film. And we started casting.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. You know what I love? That a lot of times people do sit on their dreams and they sit on their visions, and they end up watching other people come through with that exact thing. I love that you guys executed. And I think you even bringing up what would I be doing if I didn't have you guys?
Yeah.
That also it also rings sounds and loudly in reference to your networking and your environment.
Yeah.
Your surroundings, the people that you connect to. The people that you connect to speaks volumes about who you are as a person.
We got lucky though.
Luck.
Yeah.
Luck.
People say it's not luck, but it's really luck to have
What
a
is
group of people around you like we do. So yeah, I think it's luck.
You're blessed.
Yeah.
That's dope. That's awesome. Cool. All right. So now you have this film. Okay, let me ask this first. Excuse me. All of you are from Bayshore, or just Suffolk?
We're from around the way.
Okay, around the way. So what do you mean?
Well, we met through each other.
Suffolk County is like huge, isn't it?
Yeah, but we met through each other, and most of us went to school together. So Kurt's like 2 years older than me. He went to a different school, but I'm always with his brother.
Right.
So I always been around Kurt, but we started connecting more when he moved back to Long Island.
Gotcha.
And we just became closer.
Were you always writing, or did it just happen because you felt
I've
the
always
connection with the vision?
we've always wrote. So we
Excuse me.
always used to share
Excuse me.
screenplays together, talk
Okay.
about stuff. He shares stuff with me. I share stuff with him. We've written stuff, but it's never been to because when I read the script he wrote, I was like, this is phenomenal. We just need to change a couple of things, and that was it.
Did it feel personal to you?
Well, yeah, extremely personal because we went through it. The film is about grief and how people deal with grief, particularly black men.
Right.
We're not able to really express, or we don't know how to process the emotions that we're actually going through at that time.
Okay.
A lot of us. I'm not talking about all
I
of
was
us.
gonna say,
Yeah,
do you think it's just okay?
a lot of us.
Yeah.
And I think men in general. If you look at the suicide rate for men, the men that complete suicide, it's way higher than our female counterparts. So it's something men in general. If you take the racial aspect away from it, it's just the things that men go through that we can't speak about is different. The
Let me
weight we
ask you
feel like
this.
we have to carry.
Okay, so let me ask you this: do you feel like this is something that starts at childhood? Because him and I were discussing. I'm a boy mom, only brothers. I was like the only granddaughter for like 20 years. So I've
Yeah.
been around boys all my life, and one of the things that I've worked hard on when it comes to my children that I noticed with my brothers and the men around me was allowing them to express themselves. Like I knew I didn't want to be that mom that's like, suck it up, let's go. I want to be like, what you feeling right now? What's going on?
Yeah.
So do you think that's part of the
It's
childhood?
deep. Yeah, it's childhood. It is, but it's a deep conversation because some of it's real. Some of it's real, like you do have to keep going,
Okay.
right? Get to the next day, keep going, power through. When it gets to the point where you don't feel like you can express yourself and everything becomes a man up,
Right.
that's toxic.
Right.
Because you actually need to get that off of your chest, right? And there's a stigma for emotional men that come with, expressing your emotions that they don't want.
What is it?
This is stigma. They just don't want.
Okay.
So
what, like you a punk?
yeah,
You emotional? You a sissy?
yeah,
You too sensitive?
yeah. So you don't really want to go there either because you've seen other people be called things.
Okay, so now where is the line drawn where you stay on the side of I'm gonna just keep pushing? How do you stay on that side, or do you? Is it like a
So
constant
that's
battle?
the parenting part. Yeah, that's the parent. Like your kids, there has to be a safe space where they can process their emotions with you, right? And then you're not a therapist, so you can process it with them, but therapy helps.
Right.
Like it's not a bad thing, especially for kids now, because it's like, look, they're hyper exposed to absolutely everything. So
that part.
they don't. It's not like back in the day. You go home, you're home. When you go home now, you're everywhere in the world. You don't have to leave your house to leave your house.
Right.
So you're hyper exposed to absolutely everything. That's not necessarily a good thing. Business wise, it's great. You can you can monetize off of it. But personally, nah, it's not. It's not the best thing in the world. There's a certain beauty in being home,
right,
and actually being able to, cut off from the world.
be
You can't.
home.
Yeah, you can't
Actually be
necessarily.
home.
Yeah, you can't necessarily cut off from the world. That's big. It's big.
Yeah.
It's not like a. It's not a small conversation.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
That's why it's a series, because it's so much. It's so many layers. It's
it's not a small
almost
conversation.
like an onion.
And it's also, you're also comparing yourself to everyone too. Like what he has, what she has, what they have, what I don't have.
Right.
And you're never really present in what you do actually have. So yeah, it's it's weird. It's different.
And it definitely is different. So when it comes to our men, you mentioned therapy. Do you think that's something that in our culture you're looked at as like, oh, you crazy to go to therapy? Feel like that's the first thing.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not
I agree
anymore.
too.
Yeah, not anymore. Because it's needed. Black men walk around in a lot of pain for a lot of different reasons. There's a lot of burden on us. Just like, so we oftentimes talk about we're not gonna disassociate ourselves or undermine the things that black women go through, but we're just talking about black men.
No,
So yeah, but we go through a hell of a lot that people don't see.
Mm-hmm.
Internally, mostly. Um, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this: do you feel it's a thing where um some are not, we're not waking up, not trying to see you, but just like even with women, okay, like I had a question that I put on social media and I asked, are women looked at to automatically be domesticated, just like men are looked at to automatically be providers? So is it a thing where you know what you're going through?
Yeah.
I have a thought that you may be going through something, but I really don't know.
Yeah.
But I can't control that you don't want to express that to me.
Well, a lot of times it's like you think a man wants to express that they're not where they want to be.
Right.
It's that simple.
Mm-hmm.
You think a man that's actually a good man, not talking about the ones that aren't, you don't think that they want to provide for their
Mm-hmm.
family?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they want to go above and beyond. It eats at them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're trying to figure out how.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not simple. It's not as simple as just explaining it to someone because at the end of the day, it's just like you, they're trying to figure out how to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
They understand that no one cares,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Oh, they feel that no
Yeah.
one cares.
Well, no one really cares except they're the people closest to them.
Okay.
But even then, you know, the food still needs to be on the table,
That's a fact.
right?
Mm-hmm.
They still need a roof over their head. The kids need clothes. You know, they need clothes. They
Mm-hmm.
still want to be able to live a life that they had in their head
Mm-hmm.
when they were younger. And a lot of it is like when a person's not living in their purpose, they become resentful
Yeah.
to the things around them.
Absolutely.
And they start internalizing that where they're not where they want to be.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to express that because it's their own fault.
Mm-hmm. That was good. Hello. All right. All right. So how do we, okay, I'm a woman. How do I deal with supporting you, right? If you are going through all these things internally and I'm trying to be there, like I'm really trying to understand you, but you're not letting me in because certain things you feel like she's not going to get it.
Yeah, but that's all. We're not even talking about black men. Most men are going to feel that way. Whether right because
What do we do?
you're in the middle of war. Like for a man, they're in the middle of like war. Oh shoot! For a man, they're like in the middle of war, right? So it's like for them, they're really trying to fix things
Mm-hmm.
or make things better or
Mm-hmm.
keep things where they are.
Mm-hmm.
Because things can be really good, but now it's just like they have that pressure of keeping it really
Am I
good.
doing enough?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Things can be going really bad, and it's like I gotta make it better, you know. But I don't. That's a historically, I don't have the answer for that. No one does, or else we wouldn't be sitting here asking that question. But just be there. Just be there. I don't have the answer. All I can say is a lot of times people, not just women, want the answer because it can be the opposite. My lady can be over there, and I could be trying to figure out what's going on in her head, but she won't tell me anything.
Yeah.
Just be there.
Just be there.
Yeah, just be there because you can't overdo it. Like, I'm here for you. Like I know. Like you can tell me anything. Okay, you know.
Right.
But like whether it be like a little note
Like,
in
okay, but I'm not.
whether it be a little note in the suit, whether it be a little note in the work coat, in the car. I'm here for you. In the car.
Okay.
Just what you want to eat tonight.
Right.
You know, it's very simple.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
Small things matter for sure. Yeah.
It's not
that.
complicated because men don't always want to go home and just be like, oh man, I lost 10K today because this contract didn't go through. Nah, just like the home is the peace.
It should be.
Yeah. So if it's not the peace, then it has to be peaceful.
Right.
They have to feel open to actually communicating things with you without it being you prompting them to actually say something.
Right.
But there's no answer. There's no right answer.
Right.
Because there just isn't.
Okay. So let me ask you this: have you ever lost anyone to suicide? Close to you?
Me personally, yeah, for sure. Not like my close friends. Um,
How old were you?
Early 20s,
Really?
like 3 years ago. Yeah, I lost some people. Lost some people.
You said people?
Yeah.
How many?
It's at least 3. You have to
At least 3. That's a lot.
Yeah, but you have to realize.
All black men?
No, 1.
1 black male?
Yeah.
The rest were women or 2 more males?
2 males. 1 black man.
3 is a lot.
Yeah, but in the world we live in, it's like people really don't want to be here.
Woo!
Like you got to realize that. You have to understand that.
No, I do.
Yeah,
I'm wooing because I felt that.
Yeah, they don't really want to be here.
Yeah.
So, I didn't. The person we wrote the script around ish, like that. Not the person that inspired the film. We didn't lose him to suicide.
Okay.
But I've lost people to suicide.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, people. This is hard for people. This isn't easy.
Right.
This isn't like older people like in their 60s and stuff that grew up in a different era, 40 and up. Mm-hmm. They don't really understand what it is to live in this culture. You guys are soft. Nah, imagine waking up in the morning and turning on your phone and you see 7 women that you want to look like. Imagine being a man and you can't feed your family, but you see 10 people you went to high school with doing phenomenal things.
Yeah.
You think they're doing phenomenal things, but you don't know because social media is just a highlight reel.
It's a social media,
right?
Be lying. Like,
then you turn on the news. Back in the day, you turn on the news and you turn on channel 2, 5, 9, 11, 12, then a couple of other channels that weren't basic cable channels. Now you have every channel in the world, everything. Where you're seeing everything, you're trying to process everything.
Yeah.
It's like this is a different era.
Yeah.
It's way tougher on your mentals.
Right.
Physically, back in the day, it was tougher. Yeah, for sure. But on your mentals, it's way tougher. There's you can't to compartmentalize everything that's going on around you is a very hard thing to do in this culture. So a lot of people just get to the point where they don't want to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, 3 people in 1 year?
Not 1 year.
Oh.
Just in my life.
Oh, in your life? Yeah,
that have.
That's almost like that's a lot.
No.
I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. Either way, regardless, you haven't been here that long on Earth. Yeah. 3 is still a lot. So, what do you want people to gather? From this film, is it a thing where you want people to understand? Please get the help that you need. Be mindful of your surroundings, the people that you call friend. So,
just like the film says, there's always someone to speak to.
Yeah.
That's what we want people to get. That there's always someone to speak to, and there's always just get to the next day. Just get to the next day. But it's really just a film about grief and how you deal with it and the burden of grief. Yeah, that's it.
I'm writing a book about grief.
Yeah, it's not an easy thing.
Yeah, I put a little fire under my behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not easy. And there's no like cookie cut way to deal with it either. Yeah.
So like I said, with Kurt, when he wrote the film, it was inspired by our friend and the grief that we were all going through. And to reiterate, our friend didn't commit suicide.
Right.
But the grief that we felt if we weren't there for each other, he could and we could understand how people wouldn't want to be here anymore.
How people would be done.
Yeah. Because when you lose someone, there's nothing worse than missing someone you're never going to see again.
Right.
There's just nothing worse than that.
Absolutely.
Because you miss that person, but that person isn't sick. That person isn't in the hospital. That person isn't in jail. That person isn't on a trip. They didn't move.
This is it.
They're not. There's a certain grief that comes with finality that's deep.
It's different.
It's resonant. So yeah, that's why he wrote the film the way he did.
Okay. So, now the events. When is it? Tomorrow?
Thursday. February 16th from 6 to 10.
So I know you mentioned social media. Like the negative and the positive of it. How have you guys come together, like to promote and stuff like that?
So we got a lot of press for the film. For our film, it's it's a business too. So actually being able to get people, like, it's sold out, like 200 people have bought tickets to the event.
That's
We
awesome.
we changed it to
A different venue,
a
right?
venue in Coram.
Yeah.
Um, so that's the business side of it.
Okay.
Getting the press,
Mhm.
getting the people,
Mhm.
getting the merch,
Mhm.
having all those things ready to deploy. Because
Right.
you have to. The film is great, but you want to
He's
keep,
like, if I do say so
yeah,
myself.
because you want to keep making films,
Yeah.
and this it's out of our pocket.
Mhm.
So you want to be able to continue to, hopefully make your money back and continue to make films that resonate with people.
Okay.
That's the actual goal.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
Gotcha. What else do you guys do?
Kurt's
That's your
done.
fun. You said this is self-funded?
Yeah.
How he
Yeah.
laughed.
Yeah.
How
So
you
yeah,
how's
we
that work?
funded it.
What do you do? How does that work?
So I run a media company called This Is Long Island Media, and
Okay.
then um, Kurt is in real estate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all into okay.
Yeah.
That sounds
So
about right. Okay.
so he
So you also want to start putting yourself out there to even maybe get like sponsorships and stuff like that as well?
yeah, and we're gonna be in film festivals,
Okay.
and we want to, we want to have shows on TV, and we want
Yeah.
to make feature films. So that's the goal. So that's the goal, not long term, but now. Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right.
So
Yeah. We talk about now.
that's the
Gotcha,
goal.
gotcha. Are you
So,
working on any more?
the best question. Yeah, we have stuff we've written already.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, we have stuff we've written already, and we have things that will
Some stuff
come
in the
out,
works.
and yeah, we have stuff in
Okay,
the works.
cool. This is so dope.
Yeah, we have stuff in the works. Kurt was a musician. He traveled the world, you know, and working with him is has been great
Mm-hmm.
because I got to skip steps because he was
Explain how.
he was a creative. He made real albums.
Okay.
Went
Well,
on
what steps did you skip?
the part where we suck. the part where,
Hello.
the part where
That's
we
a good thing to skip.
yeah, the part where we
Okay.
suck because he understands when you're putting together a film, it's like putting together in a way, which is a way more expensive album because if you're putting together a good album, you're putting together a really good story.
Right.
When you're putting together a film, hopefully it's a really good story.
Right. Right.
So him having gone through that process before of the pre-production, the post-production, building a team for the sound, building a team for the videos, building a team for every part and every facet of album, building a tour team,
Right.
having all that,
Mm-hmm.
that allowed us to. He went through that tough
Right. Right.
times,
Right.
but I got to join
He
him,
crawled so
and
you can walk.
yeah,
Type.
yeah, I got to meet him where he was at.
Right. Right. Very
So
cool.
that's been amazing.
Mm.
That's been amazing. So hopefully we can
Love that.
well, we're gonna do some amazing things together, and this film is just the start of it, but it's a good film.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that. That's so dope. I mean, I'm excited for you guys just for the fact that you're close and you're able to do something together.
Yeah.
Because some of us, we have friends that we're like, I would love to do something with my friend, but some of them just don't have it.
Well, no, Kurt's a different cat. We call him Captain Kurt.
Okay.
He's a different cat because he's one of those people that if he hears you, he always said, "Oh, I want to die," because we didn't just start sharing screenplays with
Okay.
each other. So I'd share him something, and I said last year, I said, "Oh man, I really like to direct a film next year." So he called me up. He said, "Yo, you said you want to direct a film, so now you have no choice."
Ooh, we need more Kirks in the world.
Yeah,
What?
so
That's how you do it.
that's what
Fire.
happened.
That's
That's
dope.
that's who he is. I mean, he's a different animal and different beast. Well,
Nah, we
same
need some
animal,
Kirks in
different
the
beast.
world. We need more.
Yeah.
More of those that push you, that's calling you
Oh
out
yeah,
when
yeah.
you speak.
But you also have to have two people that can work together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, for sure, for sure.
And then can do business together, and then put the ego aside, and like, cause Kurt's Kurt would be Mike, and I'd be Scotty in this, but you have to be able to
play a position and
play the
be
role without being, letting the
yeah.
things, because the film wouldn't happen without him. It would be an impossibility, because his brain allowed all this to come to fruition.
Right.
So,
What is the parents and the family of your friend that passed away? What have they said about you guys doing this?
they're fully supportive. They're fully supportive
That's
because
amazing.
yeah, they're fully supportive. When it celebrates him in a way.
Right. No, it does.
It celebrates him in a way, but it's not about him.
No, but
Yeah,
still.
and it was inspired by him. The grief of the grief of losing someone impactful in your life is tough.
Trust me, I know.
Yeah, it's tough. So yeah, they were okay with it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, so where's it going to be?
What the
I'm
premiere?
some type of way. I want to be
It's in Coram. It's in Coram. Hold on.
Coram, New York.
Yeah, I gotta get the exact address.
Yeah, get the exact address, and we want to know what they. Make sure you let the people know where they can follow you, to support you guys. Cause
you gotta come to the actual.
He calling me out.
You gotta come. So you're here. You're talking all this great stuff.
Listen, this energy is directed to the Nassau County Correctional Facility.
No, I'm not doing
that. So
I
can go.
No problem.
Okay.
Movie Land Cinemas in Coram, New York.
Movie Land Cinemas in Coram, New York.
Yeah, Movie Land Cinemas in Coram, New York is where we changed the actual place. It was It was going. You can follow us at Speak to Me the Film.
Speak to Me the Film on Instagram. Just Instagram?
Yeah, just Instagram.
If people want to contact you,
SpeakToMeTheFilm.com.
There you go. Okay, SpeakToMeTheFilm.com.
And you can find our information there. And hit us up. And if this comes out before the premiere, come by. Movie Land in Coram.
Come on by. Absolutely. Stop by. I was gonna ask something else, and then I lost my thought. Ask as many
questions as you want.
I lost my thought.
What made you start this?
The podcast?
Yeah, well, this series.
Oh, this series? Yeah. So I started this series because I just feel our men are going through a lot.
Yeah.
I just feel our men are going through a lot. And to be honest, let me be transparent for a second. You had asked a question about, me and my husband. We've been through a lot. Mm-hmm. And even just being a parent, parenting a autistic Black man, just trying to
which is dangerous for him.
Is very dangerous. Yeah. And I'm a praying woman, but realistically, I'm constantly, praying for and over my children because they are brown. They have brown skin.
Yeah, but what's that for when you're raising a Black child? How hard? Because I don't have kids.
Okay.
So how hard is it to not instill fear?
It's very hard. There is a line.
Fear and awareness are two different things. Like how is it tough?
So I'll use an example where I had to understand that I could hurt my child by being fearful. So I've been this color all my life. I had a lot going on growing up, being this light, having issues with the girls and stuff. Girls assuming that, the boys who like me, girls assume that I like them, which wasn't true. So I had issues. Yeah. So I had a complex growing up, being this light. And plus, everybody in my house was brown. Yeah. So I was only like one. So I did have a complex. So I remember my oldest being really small. And I left him at a park with one of my cousins who never watches him usually. Yeah. He got into a fight. Two boys tried to jump him. Yeah. So my cousin comes up to me running around. Oh, don't get mad at him. They came for him. And I'm like, what's happening? My son is looking all sad. I'm like, time out for a second. What happened? Oh, the two kids over there tried to jump him, but he got him. And I'm like, okay. So I see my son. He's looking defeated. Yeah. I'm like, you good? And he's like, yes. I said, who started it? And he's like, they did. I said, but you're good. He goes, yes. I said, okay. So we're good. Yeah. They started, you finished it, and now you're good. Mm. I said, you didn't do anything wrong. You defended yourself. Yeah. And he's like, okay. So then I could see the relief where he's like, okay, I'm not in trouble. But this is where I was wrong. I say to my son, you need to understand that you're going to have to be able to be aware. You're going to have to always be on guard because you're light. Yeah. People are going to always come for you because you're light skinned. Yeah. And I promise you, I heard God say, don't do that. And I got convicted for a second. First I'm like, why not? Then I had to think. I'm like, Shanice, that was your experience. Yeah. That was your experience. Now, if it comes down to... So you're projecting? Yes, I projected in that moment. Yeah. But it was such a teachable moment that I had to realize I have to be mindful of things I say to my child. Yeah. Because I'm mom. He's supposed to be able to trust what I say. He shouldn't be in a place where he's like, okay, she said that, but it should be my mom said this, so that's facts. So that's 100. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. So I had to learn that you have to be very careful with just saying things to your children based off of what you went through. You can have a discussion about it and go from there, but they should have some type of dialogue with you, not you just lecturing and projecting onto them. Yeah. So that's been that's always been like, I don't want to call it a challenge. It's been an awareness for me to be mindful of my words. Because I know for men, and you can probably attest to that, when it comes to the women in your life, men, we can make or break you guys. Like our words are like daggers if we say the wrong thing to you. Like it literally resonates in your very fiber, your the fabric of you. And I've come to know that. So I try to I don't try. I speak life into my kids. You know, I don't force them to go to church. They go to church, they know the word. If I'm not around, they know how to navigate through certain things because they have the word in their spirit. But the reality is they're living in a world where people do hate them because of how they look. They've never experienced you. But because of how you look, you're going to be judged. My oldest, when Trayvon Martin was murdered, I remember him going out the door. And I don't know what this is about with the teenagers. I don't know. They don't like coats anymore, I guess. So they always wear hoodies. So after this happened, subconsciously, I'm not even knowing how this kid's death affecting me. He went to go to the store and put his hoodie on. And I like lost it. I like literally yelled, "Take your hood off!" And he's like, and when I saw the fear, my heart was just broken. So I'm like, come back in. And I'm like, I'm getting emotional. Shoot.
Take your time.
I'm like, come back in. So he comes back in. And I'm like, look, I'm so sorry that I yelled at you. But it's different for you. Let me explain. And so I reminded him what happened. And then he says, why do white people hate us? And I was like, I said, you know, I'm a correction officer. A lot of people hate correction officers, but a lot of people love correction officers. So it's not a people who hate you, it's individuals.
Yes.
Some of them are raised wrong. Some of them don't know who they are. So they just repeat and carry on with their environments. They might not even feel that way. But because they might be afraid to not join in, they do exactly that.
What was he, like 13 at the time? 14 maybe?
Yeah. 14, 15 maybe. Yeah. And now I have another one. Who he goes to a private school. There's white teachers, a black principal, and he's had to deal with some little bullying stuff. But not just from white kids. I'm talking about his own kids look like him. And I had to explain to him. I said, listen, sometimes people are going to not like you because you actually have things. Some of the kids you are dealing with, they're not even being raised by their birth parents. Some of them are adopted. They feel some type of way because maybe people aren't explaining to them that still can be loved.
Well, hurt people.
Exactly. So I have real conversation with my kids, but I understand that my husband, my brothers, some of my cousins, they didn't have that growing up. But now they're fathers. So they're going through battles internally of, you know, am I enough as a father because I didn't have a father? Or am I enough as a father because certain things my parents did to me I didn't like? And now am I overly doing it because I don't want them to feel how I felt? So being a parent to a black child is totally different. As far as I'm concerned.
I think that's a fact.
Yeah, no, it is a fact. It is a fact.
That's a fact.
Yeah. So, you know, I work with most of the people I work with are white. And a lot of times I hear conversations that they have, and I'm just kind of shaking my head like, I'm like, it must be nice in my head.
They don't really, they don't understand.
No, I don't have conversations about it because I'm like, for one, I don't trust having a conversation with you because if I get emotional about it, I'm aggressive. When you get emotional, you're actually emotional. So I try my best to stay in clear conversations like that because some people choose to not understand you. And that's fine.
How's the burden when it comes to trying to help so many black men in your life for you? Who you speak to? How do you get through it?
Well, for one, I am big on meditation. I am big on praying. I also, as I've gotten older, I've come to realize that every person, every male is not for me to speak to.
No, I'm talking about in your ethos, in your home, in your
in
your universe.
Oh, in my universe?
Yeah, I'm talking about to speak to in your place like in your main three, how do you navigate their emotions and their feelings, and how do you, because it's a burden that comes
It's a lot.
to our to Black women in our culture and society. It's you guys deal with a lot of the pain. A lot of the pain that we go through is bestowed upon you guys.
It's definitely projected on us. One of the things that when I first started the series, one of the things I was asking the men was, I'm like, how do y'all feel about us? Because even like, well, I think it was Tupac's song, he said, we're raising a, I think he said something along the lines of, we're raising a race that hate the ladies that made the babies.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, why did he say that? We all know he was beyond his time. We know that part. But why did he say those words? And then when I look at a lot of the behavior that I see that come against us, it's confusing to me.
Well, it shouldn't be.
Huh?
It
You said it
shouldn't
should
be.
not be?
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, from the time we got here, we were conditioned to hate ourselves.
Yes, but the time we got here, the mothers have always been the ones who had to love on you.
Yeah, but we associate success with something that doesn't look like us.
But beyond the success, I just want to love on you.
It's hard to take love when you don't understand it.
I guess.
You know.
But just like with everything else, you know, when you don't know something, you look to learn if you care enough about it.
That's not true.
But I don't want you to. I don't want to be hurt by you because you don't care to learn how to accept my love.
It's not that. Where do you go to learn this thing? I'm not going to stereotype Black men, but what I will say is, where do we go to learn this thing? So we're gonna our teachers don't look like us, right?
True.
I'm not saying that there was a generation that just had no father in the household. Mm-hmm. That's changing.
It is definitely
that's
changing.
A narrative. So even if the parents aren't,
fathers, man.
Yeah, like there's a narrative that is not true anymore. Like co-parenting is a real thing.
Yeah,
just because mothers are single mothers doesn't mean that there's not single fathers doing the whole co-parenting. I just want to make
shout out to my guys that I know that got custody of their kids.
There's a whole generation that was a little bit lost though. Mm-hmm. Right? So who were they talking to when there was no one to talk to? There was no man in the house to like be like, you know, because when Kurt talks to his young baby boy, when he starts crying, he goes, "Well, tell me why you're crying." Simple. Not stop crying. Mm-hmm. Now you're being a punk. Not man up. It's like, tell me why you're crying. We're gonna just wait. I need to understand. Yeah. Let me help you process this. Right. You know, let's process this together. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's go through these steps. Right. Let's see how we can avoid this next time. Mm-hmm. Let's see how we can deal with it. So it's just like, imagine if a generation of young men grew up with that. Mm-hmm. Like, hey, you crying? Why? Right.
I'll say this. The men that I know, or let me say this, the men that I've watched grow as husbands and as fathers that are Black, mm-hmm. a lot of them are connected to leaders in their communities. Yeah. Or some of them, a lot of them also, were in sports. Yeah. So they had their coaches as mentors and things of that nature. They watched their coaches and how they handled their families. Because a lot of time the coaches will just bring you in. Now you're like family, depending on how amazing you were as an athlete. Yeah. So there's no manual to this thing. Yeah. But
learn on the job.
Like I'm still learning on the job too as a wife. My mother was a wife, but I didn't respect that situation. Mm-hmm. So a lot of stuff she allowed, I knew I wasn't gonna do.
I don't think we can be perfect.
Well, no one can be perfect. Yeah. But you can strive for excellence. You can strive to learn more about how to be better. Like, okay, you and I are talking right now, right? Mm-hmm. As a podcaster, I'm new at this, but I'm excited about it. So if I'm excited about something, I'm going to try to learn to be better at it. Yeah. So instead of me being so excited, I'm just podcasting, I'm just doing this, and I just keep talking over you. I have to learn. I got to listen to my guests. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to have to do this sometimes, even when I want to be like, what? I got to just sit and
listen. Yeah.
Because I have a desire to be better at it. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's a fact. So if you have a desire to do something, you're going to put the effort. You're going to try to put the work to it, or even ask questions about it. Yeah. Like I talk to other wives who, nobody's perfect, nobody's gonna tell me all their business, but I can see or I can deal with energy and understand their relationship seems very authentic. Yeah. Let me ask her about A, B, and C. How many, how do you guys date every week, or is it once a month?
Yeah.
Or do you set out to do this with your children? Do you
Yeah.
set out to do this with this person? Do you pay for a sitter? Do you just have dates at home where everyone in the house knows tonight is the night mom and dad are upstairs? Everybody knows to convene downstairs
Yeah.
because they're having a little time. How do you do it to where you guys are good now?
Yeah.
And I might get the answer of, listen, the first 5 years we were horrible. We were cool and we were friends, but once we got that license, it was on, and we was like, I don't really like this person. Like, now he live with me, now his shoes is over here, now she's too neat, we went through it for 5 years straight. But on that mark of the 6th year, we decided that this is gonna happen, and this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen. So it wasn't always easy, but it was worth it.
That's dope.
Having conversations. But if I'm just sitting there, like, I guess I would just stay married and not work at it. I don't believe in divorce, so we're just gonna sit here and really not like each other, but we're gonna smile for the camera. We're both dying in a relationship.
Yeah.
That's an issue.
To go back to one point you said, I think that culture puts this perception on black men that they don't love black women, and that's just not true.
No, I don't believe it's true.
Oh, okay. Because we were
I
talking
don't believe
about.
it's true.
Yeah, we were
I was just saying
about
what was happening. That was confusing to me. When you said it's not confusing, I was like, what's confusing to me?
Well, like, because black men, like, like, a lot of people say black men don't date black women. They date out their race a lot.
I know do. So
statistically, that's not true either.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Like,
no, they like to. This is the thing, and
we're gonna experience some things now.
No, we are.
Come on now.
No, we are.
All right.
I mean, I've never personally dated outside of my race. Well, I definitely dated a Spanish person, but people like what they like, and it's their business.
Yeah.
It's their business. But I think what happens is, and this has to be a personal thing. For me, I'm not one of those people who are on social media like, okay, take another social media break. I'll see y'all in 2 months. Like, I don't do none of that because I don't have to. I'm a grown up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm turning it off. It is what it is. I don't have to make the announcement. But for your own self, in reference to guarding your gates, you can't take in all of this stuff. Like, you have to be very mindful and intentional with the stuff that you attach yourself to. Right. I know black men love black women.
That's right.
All the black men that I'm connected to, they have wives. They're black. Mm-hmm. A lot of them were together, so they were like in their teens, mm-hmm. and they have children, and they pushed through and figured things out. Yeah. Some of my girlfriends had married young men that they were teenagers, and some of them the dad's family was on drugs, so she borderline almost kind of raised him. But then I'm serious. But then they learned to grow up together, so she can still keep her man in that position that he is king, that he is the head of her household, that he is the one that handles everything and provides, where he doesn't feel like he's not the man in a relationship. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. But she had to see other people put their man in a certain position, even when it wasn't always that way. So if I'm the breadwinner, I have to know that I'm almost, I don't want to use the word obligated, but it would behoove me to learn how to be in tune with my husband so that he doesn't feel less than because I'm the breadwinner.
What do you hope people get from this series?
I hope people self-evaluate. I hope people see other people. And when I say see, not like, what's up? I mean, see people's hearts.
Yeah.
Be able to recognize that sometimes we miss the mark and it's okay. Give yourself grace. I hope people actually see our men that they're humans. I told you I work in a jail. I feel that me working there is ministry for me.
Yeah.
I get at them dudes. I'll be like, as soon as they see me, they're like, Miss A. I'm like, really? Really? They're like, no, but I did start school like you told me. But then this is something that was old. I'm like, okay. As long as you're trying.
How does that affect you and your family? Seeing a large amount of black men in there and then going home to two black men, young men.
Listen.
And a husband.
My little one says stuff like, why can't you be a teacher? And I'm like, well, I kind of am a teacher. Mm-hmm. And he's like, no, I mean, like in a school. Like, I don't really want you to go there. Mm-hmm. And I explained to him, I was like, okay. I said, we trust God, right? He goes, yes. I said, so me taking this job, I said, I left a really good job to take this job. and I even took a really big pay cut.
Yeah.
I said, I always tell you, I don't do anything I don't love. I said, certain jobs are not for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I said, but for me, I said, it's not that I'm just locking people in. I said, some people I know for sure, I don't remember conversations, but I may see someone and I hear them call me by the name I know they would call me at work. And I'm like, oh God. And I turn around, I'm like, how are you? I don't remember the person.
Mm-hmm.
But they will say something I said to them and let me know they're doing good,
Mm-hmm.
which means my job is done. That's to me my real job.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about the uniform, wearing a gun, none of that. It's the effect. And it's also a thing where it's opened up doors for me to speak to kids at school so they can see someone who looks like them. Because I'm from up the street of this. I know you don't know nothing about Nassau, but I'm from one of the worst blocks in Hempstead.
Yeah.
My friends have committed suicide. My friends have been murdered.
Yeah.
I was engaged to somebody who was murdered.
Yeah.
So I've always been around street stuff, but I didn't understand the whole jail thing. I'm like, why I keep going in and out? I don't understand. Like clearly there's a glitch there where you're not learning
Well, it's designed
from what you're doing, right?
It's kind of designed for them to go there.
So with that, I definitely know that. So with that, I said, it's part of my testimony. So when I go to these schools, I'm like, no, I'm from where you're from, but I made a different choice. I was in situations where I could have been shot because I was around the wrong people.
Yeah.
Or, you know, you're a beautiful young lady, but if you with the wrong guy and he tells you hold something, you won't get enough a lot of time. You're not gonna be cute no more when we get inside. You cook fish, like it's a wrap.
Yeah.
So you better be mindful of the decision that you make now. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't be able to really have this conversation if I didn't go through it. So I feel the decision that we make, you know, we have to be mindful that, you know, it's almost like throwing a rock in a river. It's going to go like this.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I feel about me being a correction officer. When I see that there's so many black and brown, it's definitely hurtful. When I got to lock in my friends' kids, it's definitely hurtful. Or when I worked at a camp at 13 and I saw certain kids, I'm like, yo, if his mom don't get him, like, she's going to either bury him or he's going to be locked up. And then I see him, I'm locking him in. So I know that I have to import certain things in my sons. And to me, it's my job that whomever I encounter that looks like us, for me to say something encouraging. Because some people never hear anything encouraging from people that they love.
Yeah.
All they hear is what you should be doing better.
What's the rehabilitation process like in there?
It is really non-existing. And I just had someone on who did 15 years, and he said to me, they used to have all these education programs and all these different things, and now they don't. So what do they expect these men to do when they come out?
Yeah.
When you have no education, some of them deal with losing the family that they had. Either they die or something happens, and now they come home, they have nothing. So now they not only don't have a skill set, they have no one. So what do you think they're gonna do when they come out? And now they have this felony. And I'm just like, you know, it's crickets.
It's not simple for black men.
No, it's not.
It's not. It's a very complex conversation. It's a very deep conversation because grief doesn't only come from when you lose somebody. It comes from just, you know, day to day as a black man. So
Absolutely.
It's like grief is like, oh, you see another, like you see 5 black officers kill a black man that's just trying to go home. Whether he did something wrong, which he didn't, or, you know, wrong or right, just he would like to either go to jail or go home. You know, just alive.
Sorry, yeah.
So grief comes in a variety of different ways.
Yeah.
We, like I said, we're hyper exposed to social media. We're hyper exposed to grief. So Speak to Me is a film that encapsulates friendship, it encapsulates grief, it encapsulates, you know, the things that we laugh through that, you know, other people wouldn't laugh through.
Right.
They wouldn't know how to survive.
They wouldn't know how to survive.
So,
Ooh, that part.
That's really
that
it.
part.
That's all I got for you.
Okay.
Appreciate
Speak to
you.
me, the film.
SpeakToMeTheFilm.com. Speak to me on Speak to Me the Film on Instagram, and yeah.
Yeah, make sure y'all support, man. I mean, I can't make it, but you know.
That's terrible.
But I'm gonna figure out something. We're gonna connect some type of way. Did you want to share your business, the company, and Kurt's company?
No, we're good.
You good?
Yeah. This is Long Island Media. This is Long Island Media on Instagram, and this is longisland.com.
Okay.
Pop it up.
Yeah, pop it up.
Yeah.
Pop it up.
See you guys later.
Let's go. Support.